paralyzed woman left alone at cafe on first date. Then a stranger CEO with a little girl walked up. It was a bright morning in the city, the kind that carried the scent of fresh pastries and the chatter of laughter from the nearby cafe. Emily had spent an hour getting ready for this day, her hands trembling as she brushed her golden hair and looked at her reflection in the mirror. It had been 2 long years since the accident that took away her ability to walk, 2 years of loneliness, fear, and endless self-doubt. When she finally gathered the courage to create an online profile and agree to meet someone for coffee, it felt like a small victory against the shadows that had wrapped around her heart. Dressed in a soft cream dress that fluttered gently against her wheelchair, Emily arrived at the cafe early, her heart full of nervous excitement. She chose a table near the window, where sunlight spilled across her face and made her eyes glow with hope. She glanced at her phone. Messages filled her screen with kind words from her best friend. "You got this. He'll love you for who you are." But deep inside, the fear lingered. Would he still like her once he saw the wheelchair? Would he look past it? Or would he do what so many had done before? Smile politely, make excuses, and disappear forever. Minutes turned into an hour, and the coffee that once steamed with warmth turned cold beside her. She scrolled through her phone again, her smile fading as she saw the message she dreaded. "Sorry, something came up. Maybe another time." Her hands trembled, the phone slipping slightly from her grasp as her heart sank. The world around her blurred into the background. The laughter, the footsteps, the sound of spoons clinking against cups, all of it faded into a distant hum. People passed by, some with a glance of pity, others not noticing her at all. The rain began to fall lightly, and she didn't even bother to move. Her heart felt heavier than ever, as if the universe had reminded her once again that she was alone. Tears slid down her cheeks, and she buried her face in her hands, trying not to let the world see her brokenness. And then, through her blurred tears, she heard a gentle voice, a little girl's laugh, followed by a deep, calm tone of a man. She looked up slowly and saw a man holding a small girl, walking toward her table. The man was tall, dressed in a gray coat, his expression firm but kind. The little girl, wearing a red dress and clutching a white stuffed toy, looked at Emily with the pure innocence only a child could have. "Daddy," the little girl said softly, "why is the lady crying?" The man paused, then knelt down beside Emily's table, placing his daughter carefully on the chair beside him. "Are you okay?" he asked, his voice low, steady, filled with genuine concern. Emily quickly wiped her tears, embarrassed. "I'm fine," she whispered, forcing a fragile smile. But her voice trembled, and the truth was written all over her face. The man said nothing for a moment, just glanced at his daughter who was already climbing down from her chair and walking closer to Emily. The little girl reached out her small hand and gently touched Emily's arm. "Don't cry," she said with a shy smile. "You're pretty, like my mommy in heaven." The words hit Emily like a wave. She gasped softly, her heart melting as she met the girl's bright eyes. The man's jaw tightened slightly, his eyes turning away for a moment as if hiding old pain. "I'm sorry," he said quietly, "my daughter, she speaks from her heart." Emily smiled faintly. "She's sweet," she whispered. The man nodded, pulling out the chair opposite her. "I think she wants to sit with you," he said. And for the first time in months, Emily laughed, a small, real laugh that came from somewhere deep inside. The little girl climbed onto her lap, holding her stuffed toy tightly. Emily looked surprised but didn't stop her. It felt strange, comforting, and healing all at once. As the rain stopped and the sky cleared, the man ordered 2 cups of coffee and a cup of milk for his daughter. They talked, about simple things at first, then about life, pain, and second chances. Emily learned that his name was Daniel, a CEO of a tech company, widowed 3 years ago. His wife had died giving birth to their daughter, Lily, and since then he had devoted his life to raising her and running his company. But no success, no wealth, no power had filled the emptiness he carried. And here, at this small cafe, Sitting across from a woman who had forgotten what it felt like to be seen, he felt something stir inside him again: hope. As for Emily, she looked at this man who didn't look at her wheelchair with pity but with respect, who saw not her weakness but her strength. For the first time in a long while, she felt alive again. When the afternoon sun broke through the clouds, Daniel smiled. "I think the universe didn't make a mistake today," he said softly. Emily tilted her head. "What do you mean?" He smiled at her gently. "You were waiting for someone who didn't deserve you. But maybe you were meant to meet us instead." Emily looked at Lily, who had fallen asleep in her lap, and tears filled her eyes again, this time not from sadness, but gratitude. She nodded quietly, feeling warmth bloom in her chest. Sometimes, life has a way of breaking us only to rebuild us stronger. A week passed since that rainy day at the cafe. Emily couldn't stop thinking about Daniel and his daughter. Every moment of that afternoon replayed in her mind. The kindness in his eyes, the sweetness in Lily's voice, the strange feeling of comfort that came from two strangers who had somehow filled a void in her heart. She had told herself not to hope, not to dream of anything more, but deep inside, she wished to see them again. And then, one morning, as she rolled her wheelchair to her balcony, she found a small box on her doorstep. Inside was a white stuffed unicorn, the same one Lily had held, and a note that read, "You looked like an angel when she fell asleep in your lap. We're at the cafe today, same time, same table. Come if you'd like, Daniel." Her heart raced as she read the words, tears spilling down her cheeks. Without hesitation, she got ready and left. When she arrived, Daniel stood waiting by the window, holding Lily in his arms. As soon as Lily saw her, she squealed with joy, reaching out her tiny hands. Emily laughed as Daniel placed the child on her lap again, and in that simple moment, the cafe that had once witnessed her heartbreak now felt like a place of rebirth. Over coffee, Daniel shared stories about his wife, his struggles as a single father, and how he had learned to build a company while raising a little girl who constantly reminded him what love really meant. Emily listened, her heart full. She shared her own story too, the accident that left her paralyzed, the loneliness, the rejection, and the long battle to find herself again. When she finished, Daniel looked at her for a long time, then said, "You're stronger than anyone I've ever met." Emily smiled softly. "No," she whispered, "I just learned that life doesn't end when your body stops moving. It ends when your heart stops believing." As weeks turned into months, Daniel and Emily's friendship deepened into something beautiful. He would visit her after work, bringing flowers or books, and Lily would run around her apartment, filling it with laughter. The three of them began to look like a family, though none of them dared to say it out loud. But one evening, as the city lights shimmered outside the cafe, Daniel took Emily's hand across the table. "You've given me something I thought I lost forever," he said quietly. "Hope and love." Emily looked at him, her eyes glistening. "You and Lily gave me the same," she replied. "You made me believe in second chances." A year later, the same cafe witnessed another scene. Emily, still in her wheelchair but radiant in a white dress, holding Lily's hand as Daniel stood beside her, slipping a ring onto her finger. People in the cafe clapped as Lily shouted, "Now I have a mommy." And the whole street seemed to glow brighter with happiness. Emily's heart overflowed. She realized that sometimes, the best love stories don't start with perfection. They start with pain, broken hearts, and unexpected moments of kindness that heal everything. Life had taken so much from her, but it had given her something far greater. A family, a reason to smile again, and proof that love could find you even when you've given up on yourself. So, to everyone watching this story, never lose hope. Life may break you, people may walk away, but there will always be someone meant to walk into your life when you least expect it. Love comes when you stop chasing what's wrong and start believing in what's right. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more powerful, emotional stories that remind you, miracles happen every day when you still believe in love.